Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Hunter, and this is an audio file, and I got all the levels turned up. It's a little low, but I'm thinking you're going to be able to hear it. So here we go.
Hey there, Ollie. How you doing? Glad to see you're doing okay after that hurricane. Looked pretty nasty. So you did a couple of videos for me back then. You did the endless entitlement of the narcissist and embrace the narcissist absence. And in those videos, I spoke to you about my mother and grandmother. So what I did was I rewatched those videos again, and I realized I didn't really tell you much about my mother. So I figured that was the whole point here. I figured I'd do an audio and share my experience, what it was like with her, and get your take on it. So here we go. And there's a quick recap. I'll go ahead and give you my name. My name is Hunter. I am the oldest of three boys. I'm going to make up my brother's names. My middle brother was, I'll call him Dan, and my youngest brother, I'll call him Jack. My mother's name was Christy, and my grandmother's name is Karen. So, to my own shame, you know, I was a golden child. Dan, he was a scapegoat, and Jack was more in between. You know, I was always told that the reason I was the favorite child was because my mother, she wanted her first kid to be a boy. And the other thing I could think of was because I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was real little. And I suppose that was just another reason for her to, favor me. And same deal with Karen, you know, I was her favorite grandchild. Me, out of 5 grandkids, you know, I was her favorite. So yeah, you know, I was a golden child. They, treated me like a prince. They bought me gifts all the time, and you know, if I ever got into a fight with my brothers, you know, they would always take my side. And, you know, and another thing, you know, my mom, she would even turn me into her son husband. And like after she and my dad divorced, because I remember one time she called me up one time and told me that Dan or somebody, one of them drew a picture on her van, which was a pentagram, and she was all like, I can't believe you did that. I mean, like she was expecting me to, you know, discipline him, and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? And she just got quiet. Yeah, that was the other thing, you know, she expected me to be daddy after, you know, they divorced. That was pretty much, you know, the good side, I would say. Now it's the bad side.
I wouldn't call that a good side. I wouldn't call that a good side, you being turned into a son husband for your mother and a father for your brothers as a disciplinarian. It's not fair. I wouldn't call any of it a good side.
Point here. I have reason to believe that my mother is bipolar, because whenever you or I or anybody worked her up, she would always lash out, screaming, cussing, and yelling all the time. I can tell you that, at an early age, I pretty much knew every cuss word, every bad word, every naughty word, because she would always direct them at my dad and me and my brothers, because once she got her worked up, she snapped. She even did this to, Karen, her own mother. And Karen, being more of a covert narcissist, and, she just took it. Anyway, so I figured I'd go over some memories I remember of. Like, one, I was about 7 or 8 years old. Dan and I, we were in the car, and we were going to go out. So we were in the car waiting for everybody to come out, and I remember that day, my mom, she was just in a bad mood all day, and she comes out, she comes in the car, she then starts clawing at the floor of the car like if she dropped something. So, me, figured I'd be, Mommy's little helper. I get on the floor, I try to hold up a piece of carpet or rug, and suddenly she just screams, "No!" and beats me in the head repeatedly with her bare fist, and she's like, "Motherfucker!" Cursing at me. Yeah. So, I don't know what the hell I did to set her off, but...
Nothing. In their crazy minds, they just start swinging. My mother Drunky would do that constantly, just beat you out of nowhere. And you get confused that with bipolar disorder, but I don't think it is. It's not bipolar. It's borderline. It's making a choice to take out your aggression on somebody smaller than you that knows you can't fight back. The true bipolar freaks out on the first person they encounter. They don't care about size, they don't care about gender, they don't care because they're bipolar and can't control their emotions. Your mother could. My mother could. Your mother chose for whatever frustration she has because they can't handle anything not going right, and somebody has to be blamed. That's why they snap into these violent rages on us as little kids. They choose us because they know we can. They know we can't fight back, and they know they can get away with it, and they know they're not going to get hurt. That's not bipolar. That's borderline. That's the choice.
That's what she did. And that I had forgotten. So that happens. And fast forward a couple of years, 2007, winter time, I was 10 years old. And it was at this time I had to get an operation done on my foot. So, I'm on crutches, I can't walk. And so one day I'm in Jack's room playing a game. He comes in, Jack, and starts, complaining, why are you in my room? And gets on my nerves, and I end up slapping him in the face. I'm not gonna lie. So he, starts crying and tells on me. My mom stormed in, screaming, yelling at me, cursing at me, get your shit on and get out of my house. And, I get my coat on, get my clothes on, and she holds the door open for me and just, get out! Slams the door and locks it. And, here I am, outside in the cold, snow on the ground, just kicked out of the house. So, I hobble over to Karen's house, and quick note, Karen was next door to us growing up. So anyway, I hobble over to her house, and I'm crying, and she ends up calling my mom, calming her down, lets me back in, okay. And when I think about that time is, yeah, I mean, what I did was wrong. I mean, I never should have, hurt my brother, but in my mom's mind, she thought the right way to discipline me was to kick me out of the house. I don't know any sane parent would do that. I mean,
they don't. They do it for a lot of reasons, to make you look violent, to make you look crazy, to make it look like to the neighbors that you're out of control. My mother used to do this shit all the time, try to kick me out. And when I would hit back on Precious, first of all, brothers fighting is normal. That's what brothers do. See, I'd have this battle where she'd be like, get out. I'd be like, all right, good. I'm just going to march my ass up to the police station. And that's what they were terrified of. See, in the heat of battle, I didn't have a problem threatening them that I would expose them. But the reality out the door was another thing. However, they always made sure it was quelled before I left again. Because my mother wouldn't then let me out of the house. Then it would devolve into just some fucking shit show where I just wanted to get away from her, and you can't. It's all meant to damage you, and it's all calculated, and she did it on purpose. This is not bipolar.
Makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, I'm not 10 years old. I'm already experiencing what it's like to be kicked out of the house. So that happened, and fast forward to 2009. I am 12 years old, and in May of that year is when my parents divorced. Go to December. One night I was acting up, and my mom's telling me to go to my room. I refuse. I rebel, and then she grabs me, like trying to force me upstairs. But I end up shaking her loose off of me. Then about a few minutes go by. She calls up my grandparents. She calls up the cops, and she ends up telling the cops that I hit her. Yeah. I never hit her. I never laid a hand on her. All I did was just try to shake her off of me. I did not hit her. But that's what she ended up telling my grandparents and the cops. So, here I am. Here's everybody, me, my mother, grandparents, my brothers, and the cop. And I'm on the couch here, crying. And the cop was, interrogating me, and everybody else, they were all just watching. And that was probably, the most humiliating experience of my life. I don't have a doubt, just by looking at their faces, my mom's and Karen's especially, they were enjoying every single moment of it. Every single moment. So
because as it's happening, they're cementing their narrative as you being violent. They wanted you to be violent. She needed you to be violent so she can have control over you. This is how they make us crazy. They make us look crazy, and they put the label of crazy or a problem or combative or whatever it is. This is the step by step. And did you say you were 12 in 2009? So what, you're barely 18 maybe? I didn't realize you were this young.
Yeah, that happens. Go to January of 2011, just barely a year later. I'm 13, and Dan and I, we end up, getting into a fight, and again, my mom calls cops on us. This time we leave in handcuffs, and served probation for a month. But when I think about that incident right there, I begin to realize, yeah, my mother's weak. She's not capable of taking care of us. What does she do? She has to, call the cops or call her mommy for help. And even a few times she called up my dad for help. Even though
she's been shit talking him for years, I'm sure. Now she wants to call him in. Right?
She was the custodial parent. She could not do it. She could not take care of 3 kids on her own. She always needed help. So that happened. Fast forward a few years to August of 2014. I was 17, and at that time I got my first job working at a store, bagging groceries. And so my mom, she makes my bank account for me, and she puts my name on it, puts her name on it. It's a joint account, and you may tell where this is going.
Yep.
After a while, saving up some money, and she starts asking if she can borrow some of it to pay bills. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine, because at the time I figured I was just helping her out. But then it starts to become a habit. Like, she would ask like 2 to 3 times a month, but then it got more and more, it became more often. And for a while I just kept going with it because, like I said, I figured I was just helping her out. But I got a little annoyed after a while, and I finally, tell my dad about it, and he's like, Hunter, maybe you should take her name off that account, that way she won't access it. But I couldn't.
Especially if your father's sending her money as well. What is she taking your money for?
Because, me being her golden child and she having all that power over me, I feared her. I was terrified of how she would react if I, if this suddenly gets malicious, I was terrified. I feared her. But it took me months finally to, muster up the courage, and I took her name off the account, made it mine, and, she wasn't happy, obviously, but she didn't, blow up, thank God. But I could tell her face, she was pissed, very pissed. But even doing that, it still did not stop her from asking for more money from me. It didn't stop her. More into that later. Go to 2016. I'm 19 at that time. Probably around the time I came across your channel, Ollie, and I watched your story, I watched other people's stories, and I began to realize, my mom and grandma are like this, and is this what they are? So, throughout that year, I began to pinpoint their behaviors, like every time I got up in the morning to give me a drink, there with my mom, be, watching TV, and she'd be like, well, you can't say hi or good morning, and, every day, every single day, the littlest thing it would upset her, and another thing, like, if she and my mom and I would get into arguments, she would always call up Karen, and Karen ended up, getting on me for, disrespecting her or being mean to her, just guilt tripping me, making me feel bad.
It's a tag
every
team.
single day, I had to go through that shit. And it just drove me insane. And
well, it's good for you that at least you found it early and started identifying. You said you found it you were 16, the channel, and started talking about it. So at least you're out ahead of the curve right now.
yeah, going through that, and also, throughout that year, I began to spend a lot more time with my dad because, I felt happier, I felt at peace, and, he treated me like an adult with respect, and I felt really happy. And so, and also, during this time, I began to distance myself from my mother and grandmother because, like I said, they were just driving me nuts. And I got a little lucky because at my work, I was the closer for my department, which meant, I would work nights till like, 10 o'clock every day. So, I was away from home like all day. And, they'd be at work during the day. So I get to spend, most weeks without having to see them.
Nice.
So, small victory there.
Yeah, that was the blessing when my parents started. when my mother actually got fired years ago, and they already had the shore property, so they were gone for months at a time. Months. I didn't have to look at them. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
So we go to October of that year. And once again, my mother wants to ask for more money from me. This time, it was like, I think $300 or $350, which was the most she's ever asked. And she would pay me back in December when she got her paycheck. Now, back then, she would always ask for like $100, $150, and this time she was asking for $300. And I wanted to say no so badly, but I couldn't because I still feared her. I didn't, the way she and Karen raised me.
And she knows that, and she's playing off your fears. That's something borderlines do. Bipolar is something that can't be controlled. It's a chemical thing in the brain. They're not calculating. They don't have. This is your mother intuitive enough to be able to play off off your fears of her to get what she wants out of you.
I was not allowed to fight back or stand up for myself. I just took it. I just took their, abuse, and I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to stand up for myself. So at that time, I just, walked away and pretended I didn't hear her. So later that night, I get a text message from Karen, guilt tripping me, saying, "Hunter, what's wrong with you? Why can't you help your mother? I thought I knew you. I guess I was wrong." Using her guilt trip on me. And
guilt trip, calculating to serve a purpose, to get what she wants, the money. Again, not bipolar, borderline. Not bipolar. Bipolars can't control what they do. Doesn't make sense. They flip out on whoever. Borderlines choose their spots, but they are very easy to confuse. That's why borderlines are just so much more dangerous.
At that moment there, that's when I finally realized, these people are narcissists. They're selfish, they're greedy. And, to add insult to injuries, around this time, I finally discovered, she's not using my money to pay bills. She's used it to go fucking gambling. And it just confirmed to me that, I would see casino ads and tickets on the counter everywhere, pretty much, because, she, my grandmother, and my mother, they would go gambling 3 to 4 times a week, and I would always see these, casino tickets on the table. And she's not using it to pay bills. I mean, even if she was paying bills, why Why is she always behind on bills? Why?
Because she's gambling.
Gambling. That's what it does, man. You get addicted to it, you lose money. That's the only reason I can think of.
So everything she does is to protect her gambling habit. And it sounds like, I don't know if it was your videos, but I've talked about, I remember doing stories about the gambling mother and grandmother. I don't know if it was yours or not, but this is something that continues to happen. And again, this is not bipolar. This is borderline personality disorder. It's all calculated for her to soothe herself, to get what she wants for her own selfish purposes.
You know, that happens. And Thanksgiving comes around. I decide to spend it with my dad. And we end up driving up to my mom's house to pick up one of my brothers that wanted to come with us. And while we were there, I noticed my mom peeking out the door, staring at us. And she was there for a while, actually, so we finally left. So we go to my dad's, have Thanksgiving, great time. We come back home the next day. Karen calls me up, asks me if I could help her set up a Christmas tree. I go over there, we start setting it up, and she uses another guilt trip, no surprise, saying, you know, Hunter, I can't believe you didn't come to the door and say hi to your mom and have Thanksgiving with us. That hurt us so badly. And mind you, you know, guilt trips were their favorite tactic to use on me, because me, the way I am, I just, like I said, I just took it. I did not fight back, and I was, I guess I would say, overly empathetic. I don't know.
You should have just walked out at that point, because that's where there's no even reason to stand there and argue, feel bad. You should just walk out, because you're telling, oh, this is an attack. Oh, this is a flank. You're hitting me from the flank with a guilt trip. I see. Well, I'm just gonna go fall back to base, and you guys can deal with this mess. You guys want to have a little civil thing between you guys, do that. And that's the mistake we make. You know, we fall for these traps. Oh, help me with the tree. And soon as she hits you with that, you're like, of course she didn't want help with the tree. Of course this is why she called me over here to begin with. And you're like just defeated, and then you're frozen, and then you just take it. When you should just be like, oh, I thought I was here for the trade. I gotta go. Bye. You're here to attack. Bye. You don't even broach the sub. But again, this is them playing off your fears, and you're almost son, husband, and by both your mother and your grandmother. And why? Because they want you to keep paying for her gambling addiction.
So, you know, that happens, and Christmas comes around, and again, I'm spending it with my dad. Christmas Eve night, I get a text message from Karen, and it went like this. It said, well, I hope you have a great Christmas. This will be the first time in 19 years I don't get to see you. And another guilt trip, no surprise.
Totally discounting your spending of Christmas with your father. Right? Like he has no right. Until she needed something from him to try to beat the shit out of you, getting it. Then she wanted. Then your mother and grandmother wanted something from him, right? Right?
And at this point there, I'm like, I can't take this shit anymore. I can't. I think I should move out, because I'm sick and tired of dealing with this. But I was waiting for something big to happen, like, you know, a big fight, big blow up or whatever. That way I would have a reason to.
You already have enough reasons. Don't listen. don't look for the big incident so you have some kind of moral authority to wave around in their face. You already have that. You have a lifetime of that. Because they can make up whatever lie they want about you. A lie makes it halfway around the world before the truth even gets its pants on. But you have the truth, and the one thing about the truth is that the truth never dies. Lies get out there quick and they're gone. But lies always die out. The truth never dies. So as long as you have the truth, eventually the lie dies out. Or dies with them. You don't need an incident to bust out of there, Hunter.
And it didn't take long. So what happened was, January comes around.
Well, it sounds like there is one, but here's the problem. Because that same incident that you're going to wave around, or you're going to use as your justification for leaving, they're going to twist it back around and make it your fault, regardless. Because again, a lie makes it halfway around the world before the truth even gets its pants on.
First week or so, I get home from work one night, I'm tired, exhausted, want to go to bed. Karen sent me a text message. I did not answer because I wanted to go to bed. I was tired. The next day, I'm at work. Really, really busy day. After New Year's, and weather was really nasty. I got slammed. So, here I am. I'm working, stocking away some vegetables, and I notice Karen coming in with her mother, my great grandmother, Betty. They come in. And Karen approaches me, has that, guilty look, frown look on her face, and extends her hand for a handshake, and says, "Hi there, I'm your grandmother. Nice to meet you. And thank you when I answered my text message last night." Yeah. When that happened, I don't think I've ever been more pissed off, more embarrassed, more livid in my life at her. For her to have the audacity to come to my job and give me shit over not answering a fucking text message, I will never understand.
Told you I had the same thing happen to me. Grandmother, when the incident with the microwave, showed up at my job at Macy's as we were going out to pick people up for shoplifting. Shields were out. Shield was out on my neck chain. We were running, and she tried to grab Matthew, and her sidekick flaunts like they're arresting somebody. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It shows up like she has some kind of authority over you. With the sarcasm of a wife, almost. Oh, this is my... Oh, so you don't answer your wife? Hi, I'm your wife. Something like that. Your grandmother? I'm sorry, Grandma. I didn't reply to my grandmother's text message at 19 years old.
So that happened, and I ended up calling her a few days later, and I told her, what you did the other day, that was embarrassing. I didn't appreciate that. She then tells me, "Oh, lighten up. I was just joking. I guess I just won't visit you anymore." Then she hangs up on me. And right there, I'm like, yep, I'm done. I'm out of here. So, spent the next week packing all my things, and January 13th was the day I left. I left a note for my mother saying, "Here's your house key. I'm moving to Dad's." I left. Haven't seen them, haven't spoken to them since. So, And a week later is when I quit my job at the store and got the job where I'm at now. And like I said, I haven't spoken to him since, but the last time they tried to contact me was late March, early April. And late March being around the time of Karen's birthday. So obviously I don't send her a birthday card or wish or nothing. So what does she do? She ends up sending my brother, Jack, as her messenger. And Jack tells me, hey, you know, Grandma wanted me to tell you that it hurt her so bad that you didn't wish her happy birthday or give her a birthday card. And my first reaction was doing the crocodile tear face. I did. But at the same time, no, I was pissed because now she's dragging my brother into this. And I really did not want to, you know, put him in the middle. But,
He put himself in the middle.
And my dad, they were like, oh, just send another message back. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I tell Jack, okay, just tell her to leave me alone. Don't talk to me. The very next day, I get a text message from her saying, you know, Hunter, I thought being a Christian means you should forgive, and I guess I was wrong to think that of you. I won't contact you anymore. And that was the last time she ever contacted me.
You know, Hunter, that is your proof right there. Right there that you're making the right decision. Okay? Because what she just did right there proves she knew what she did bothered you and knew it was wrong. Yet, she sent your brother with a message of how Grandma is so sad and on another guilt trip. Instead of her just apologizing herself, or if she was just too big of a coward to do that, to send Jack and say, you know, she's really sorry. No, none of that. She sent him with a fucking guilt trip, didn't she? And then when the guilt trip got rejected, then she acknowledges she knows you're upset and she knows what's wrong, but uses another guilt tactic in saying, oh, well, I thought you were a Christian, forgive and forget. Right here, lady. Right here. So you made the right decision here. This woman's a narcissist and she's never going to change. This isn't even your mother. This is your grandmother.
So what did I do? I ended up blocking her number and my mom's number. Like I said, since then I've never spoken to them since. I've maintained no contact. So right now, been doing great. It's been very peaceful. My new job now, it's great. Pays a lot better, a lot more hours. Right now, I'm in the process of getting my first apartment, hopefully by the end of the year. And you know, I gotta thank you, Wally, because you know, when I discovered your channel, it really opened my eyes, and I think I'd still be stuck there, you know, if I haven't, you know, seen your videos, because you really helped out a lot. I mean that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you again for what you do, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep up the resistance. Thank you.
Well, first, let me say, you know, it makes me very, very happy that my channel saved you, Hunter, from decades of more of this bullshit that was going to get, which would only have gotten worse and worse and worse. So, I mean, I guess it's the motivation of why I do it to begin with. You know, your mother and your grandmother play off your fears. Play off your fears of them. They know it, they sense it, that's why they do it. They know you're afraid of them, you're afraid of disappointing them, you're afraid of being labeled the bad guy. So that's why they were able to do what they did to you for so long. Your grandmother has no respect for you. She knows what she did was fucked up at your job, but yet she sent your brother with another guilt trip. And then when she acknowledged what was fucked up, she did it through another guilt trip as well. Okay? So, I'm happy you're 19. You saw it for what it is. I mean, the fact that you had the maturity at 16 to start picking up on this and start doing something about it. I'm very happy that you and your dad are making it work. All right. If things are good with your dad at his place, I mean, you're 19, you're young. Save your money for as long as you can. I mean, it is nice to have your own place as well, but if things are going well with your dad and he's not pushing you out, you know, don't try to take on more than you can handle either at your age. You know, you got a life to live. You know, you're 19, you got everything ahead of you. And, you know, you're in a much better position now for your future, knowing what narcissism is, knowing what you're susceptible to. So in relation to your mother and grandmother, because some girl can come in and take that role, that the exact prototype of them. You are susceptible to coming in and just picking up the ball where they left off. So you have to make sure you don't do that. You're early on, whether or not you're going to stay no contact with them forever. I mean, chances are you're definitely still going to have contact with them because of your brothers. But you can't fall into their bullshit. You can't fall. You walk into a trap. You walk into somebody defending them. You just walk away. I gotta go. Gotta go. Not even a topic for discussion. Don't get caught in that trap. Okay? Because they're gonna try. Because they know you're susceptible to fear. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution, and thank you for the recording. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just sponsor the channel in general, help it grow and survive, because it's been completely demonetized and it now survives 100% on contributions from all of you. So thank you. So you know what to do with the PayPal and email link in the description box. And if you're still unclear, wait for the instructional video link to pop up on the screen at the end of this video to walk you through all of that. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.